Hi, welcome to my first cigar video. To give a little background, I've only been smoking cigars for a little over 6 months. My workplace, my apartment complex have always discouraged it, so I never took up any kind of smoking before. But I've always enjoyed the smell of a good cigar. I'm in my mid-30s. I figured, why not try something that I want to do? So I went out, I read up online, I got a humidor ready, and I started up, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. I certainly don't claim to be an expert. I only average about 1 cigar a week, so my experience is limited. I'd like to think that maybe gives me a fresh perspective. Plus, when I did a video search of the cigar I'm going to review, I didn't see it on YouTube, so I figured, why not put one up? I think it's a good idea to show you my setup, so that you can tell where the cigar is coming from, how it might be different from your setup. I would imagine all the little things could greatly influence how the cigar performs. First up is my humidor. It's a simple and cheap setup. I think it holds 25 to 50 cigars, has a glass top. I seasoned it with a Boveda season pack, and after I was finished, I used Boveda or Boveda, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's the humidity packs. I originally started with a humidor that my friend gave me, one of those that you have to add the distilled water to. But I'm lazy in the fact that I like to have things set up, not have to worry about them, not have to constantly check on them every time I add a new cigar or open the box. So Boveda works fine for me. Each packet lasts about 3 months, and I've staggered it so that I don't have to replace them at the same time. For this size box, you need 2 packs. At least that's what they say on their website, so I got 2. I keep my box out of the direct sunlight. The temperature is regulated in my apartment to an appropriate level. I have a working hydrometer for the inside of the box, and I just have an extra one on the outside of the box to appease my curiosity as to what the humidity is in my room. I'm not saying that's what you should do, just want to give you an idea that that's what my setup is. I use a very basic cutter. You can just hold it with one hand, and it works really well. And I use a regular Bic lighter, because I've heard that certain lighters use a type of gel that's flammable that maybe could make the cigar taste weird. I'm not sure, but it costs less than $1. That's mostly why I use them. Real easy and simple. So the cigar I will be smoking today is the Cuban Honey's Robusto Southern Gentleman Sumatra. Okay, so what does all that mean? Cuban Honey's is the brand of the cigar. Robusto, however you say it, that's the size. Specifically, this cigar is 5 by 50. 5 inches long, a 50 ring size. Southern Gentleman is the flavor of this infused cigar, and then Sumatra is the color of the wrapper. Now, the color of the wrapper doesn't always tell you what a cigar will taste like, but in general, a Sumatra tends to be milder and sweeter. Many of the infused cigars, like Cuban Honey's or Drew Estate's Acid, use this type of wrapper because it's mild enough not to argue with the flavor infusion. A lot of the tasting notes include cinnamon, earth, floral, and a slightly sweet aftertaste. And sometimes these type of cigars have a sweetened tip as well to just kind of make all of it blend together. I bought this one online. They're about $5 a stick. Prices will vary due to location and taxes, but in general, this should be an affordable cigar. First, I'll smell the cigar. It gives off a very sweet smell. I'd say the strongest smell is like a vanilla bean, sort of like an ice cream smell, vanilla and sugar, just that little bit of sweetness as well as the vanilla. Now under that, seems like there's a hint of a potpourri smell. It's not real strong, but it's just a little bit of fruit to that. It smells nice to me. I could see how some cigar smokers might be turned off by those smells. Maybe those that are used to like a heavy tobacco smell. I get the impression that the flavors of this stick are mild. Oh, hopefully that sounds good to you. Sounds good to me. Let's go out. Let's see how it smokes. We'll have to smoke in a little public area, but as you can see, it's a really nice day out. Even the geese are enjoying it. The cigar, very easy to light. Now, it's not burning razor sharp, but it seems to be doing fine. Didn't have to touch it up or anything. I was kind of surprised that this one didn't have a sweetened cap. The flavors so far very mild. Mostly I'm tasting tobacco, but just a little bit of vanilla, but not really like a vanilla bean, more like a vanilla candle or a spray. It's not unpleasant, but it doesn't have a very natural taste. But again, it's very minimal. At this point here, it's about 10 minutes into the smoke. It's burning well. There's a little bit of wind outside, but I haven't had to mess with it, relight it, or anything. It has a loose to medium draw. The tastes, even though they're still mild, they seem to be consistent. It has a vanilla taste, a little bit of vanilla smoke, maybe with a hint of honey in the taste. Again, but it's just real mild. The smoke itself isn't creamy or oily. It might be a little dry for my taste. I would suggest maybe having something to drink with it. As you can see here, the ash has stayed on pretty well. It's a night white ash. Doesn't seem to be flowering out at the ends. The cigar's not too warm. It's not tunneling. It seems to be a well-constructed cigar. It's just that the taste is really mild. I don't know if I can really state how limited the flavors are here. The ash finally fell off. Consistency is still the same. I was really expecting from the smell of the cigar to really have a lot of strong infused flavors, but really it's hard to pick out anything but the vanilla. The description online said the taste was supposed to be ground vanilla bean, tropical fruits, and a dash of bourbon to create bold notes of citrus and vanilla. Unfortunately, I don't taste that combination at all. Maybe my palate is not as fine as this, but I just have that strong vanilla and tobacco taste. Not a bad cigar by any means. Just be aware of how mild, especially from the smell, that the cigar by smoking it is. At this point, I am about 25 to 30 minutes into the cigar. Could taste a little more of what they mentioned about being like a floral note. But again, not a complex cigar. It's pretty casual. There's no strength at all. There's just little hints of taste here and there underneath the vanilla, but real weak, real mild. This picture here, it's down to about where the band was. Probably about 45 minutes into the smoke. Still same flavor, same consistency, same draw, same burn. It ended up, all in all, taking about an hour to smoke. So I'd say it's a decent cigar. This is probably a good thing for beginners, people want to get into an infused cigar, or maybe people who just prefer a mild cigar. I'm kind of afraid that if this was left in my humidor for 6 months to a year, there might really be no flavors at all left. Personally, with infused cigars, I like the Drew Estates Acid line. But for a $5 cigar that burns nicely, has a good draw, is consistent throughout, it's hard to go wrong. I only bought the one cigar, I didn't buy a whole box, so I don't know how it might be. I might have just got a really good stick, and then again, it might be mild because I got a bad stick. But I don't know if I'd say I'd recommend it. But if you listen to it and you like the way the positives, they sound good to you, I think it's worth a shot. It's worth the money. If the negatives sound like something you just can't live with, I suggest try something else. Move on. There's really nothing good to see here. I did get a few more of that same brand of the Cuban honeys, but just in different flavors. Eventually, I'll try them out, let you know if there's any differences, let you know how the tastes and flavors are. So until next time, smoke them if you got them. Wow, that's a terrible inline. I wonder how I should